I'm Leslie.
And I'm Shelly.
And we're Sisters in Ebert. Welcome back for another super fun movie Monday. We're here today with Troop Beverly Hills.
Oh, it's a fun one, especially if you were in the Girl Scout community, and as many of us were as children.
And currently we're in the throes of cookie season, as I'm sure you see Girl Scouts at every grocery store and maybe even at your door. Yes, we got ours this year.
We've got our supply.
Thank you to my little cousin for these. So, another super fun cast, super fun movie. I really like this one. This was not a summer movie.
No.
This was,
Did we rent this?
I think we just caught it on TV.
Okay.
A good bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put at the beginning, it looks like the same animation as Ren and Stimpy in the song. Did you notice that?
I didn't, but I did enjoy, it was like a lot of movies at that time had the fun little cartoon intro. I'm trying to think. Grease.
Yeah, Grease did too.
Something else too. I can't think. It's gonna drive me crazy. But it was common in this era to have a cartoon.
And my son was watching it with me, and he was super. Is this a cartoon? I'm like, no, sorry, buddy. Yeah, but it looked like the same animation to me as Ren and Stimpy. So our Beverly Hills troop, at the beginning, we cut to, they're talking about the Beverly Hills troop. They have no patches. They've never sold a single cookie, and they've had more leaders than Banana Republic. So they're getting a new leader. Because there's still girls who want to belong. So the lady who's the head of everything wants to keep it going.
They say they have 6 members or
8, I
8
think.
members. Yeah. Okay.
And it's a new leader. They're going through her application. Age, not applicable.
They're all just like
marital status, shaky. She's honest, resourceful, and thrifty.
And they're showing her in these parts as she's like
on Rodeo Drive.
Yeah, she's like trying on a dress, and she's like, "How much does it cost?"
Yeah,
I think it was
$5,600, and she's like, "There's a bead missing,"
and you can't see anything wrong with this.
So she's tapping it, and the lady goes, "I can give it to you for $5,000." I'll take it.
That's her thriftiness.
So, she gets home and she's talking about, all the money she just spent. And the best thing is her husband won't even get the bill until after the divorce is final. And he walks in right behind.
Walks in the room and hears it all.
And he said, "Have your fun now, Phyllis. After the divorce, you'll only be shopping at Pick and Save." And
they're just batting at each other.
And she's like, "You can't be in the house. Everything north of the lawn jockey is mine." And so
you're supposed to be in the guest house.
Yeah, the guest house. And I guess they're just going back and forth, like hitting each other with zingers, and everything the other one's done wrong. And the man's name is Fred. The woman's name is Phyllis. And she's also the one who's applying to be the leader for the Wilderness Girls. Mm-hmm.
Played by the lovely Shelley Long.
Peak Shelley Long. Mm-hmm. And then she was talking about how she got Fred through law school clipping coupons, and now he's Neffler the Muffler Man. That's her last name, is Neffler. And now she had so much potential when they first met, and he wanted to see what she would do with it. Well, now he knows what she did with it. She went shopping. So she tosses all his clothes out the windows, and I said the gardener doesn't even blink. He just keeps
leaf blowing. It seems like a common occurrence in this house.
The Beverly Hills girls show up. I put they're all showing up for the meeting at the house.
At her house, at their mansion.
Yep. And then dad gets pulled over on the way up to the house, and here it's Jackhammer Shakar. Daddy, shake the man's hand so we can be on our way. She's talking about how he is like a prize fighter. He's like the Muhammad Ali type character.
And then the policeman asks him for his autograph. Yeah. He says, "Not on there, on the ticket form."
Yep, not on that. The daughter and mother arrive, and they're like writing a romance novel together. Like
the daughter puts in some risque.
Yeah, his pulsating manhood, or no, his something with his manhood. Yeah. His mother's like, his pulsating. Yeah, she corrects it. And then there's another one who is getting dropped off a block away because her dad's trying to get to an acting job. They're struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Another one's like her limo driver just drops off. It's not even the parents. And the other one's like a dictator's daughter. And yeah, they drop her off.
Yeah, it's quite a cast
quite a crew,
here.
Yeah. And a lot of like the girls like go on to do other things later on. And, like they have careers later on. It's pretty impressive. So they don't have any uniforms because, you know, Phyllis is like, well, aren't you guys supposed to have uniforms? I know I'm new at this. And she's like, we don't have any. Nobody ever took us, like, stuck around long enough to go shopping. She's like, well, that's where I've got my black belt. You know, she takes it. They go uniform shopping, but the uniforms are just awful. But these things can be fixed.
Yeah, she comes out and just, how bad is it? It's like they're all devastated.
Yeah,
and her
it's like,
this
well, the fabric's awful. The nightmares. So she goes. They ask her, like, what? Oh, it's Harriet from Family Matters is the lady giving out the uniforms. I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, the mom from Family Matters, and Shelley Long's like, she's like, I need a French 36. Well, then you can go to France.
Yeah.
I said, Velda, who is like the district leader, is way into the Wilderness Girls. I put like she is just like living and breathing Wilderness Girls. We cut back to Phyllis, who is mad again at her husband, but she's you know, he's cute, but he, you know, is like, so she's still, there's still something there.
Yeah.
You know, she says that he's cute. A girl pulls up to the guest house. This is in the middle of the night. And she's like, Hannah, she's waking up her daughter. There's a woman who just pulled up to the guest house. And she's like, dark hair, long legs, big boobs, stringy hair, skinny legs, and silicone boobs. But yes. And she's like, oh, that's just Dad's realtor, Lisa. And she's like, she was like, oh, but it must be a pretty hot listing. You know? We cut to they're going to have the Wilderness Girls camp out because Velda, you know, it said that they, you know, recommended this campsite. They have to do some Wilderness Girl activities. So they arrive at the camp out. They're all in limos with designer luggage. And
I love this scene.
Ready to rough it? You know,
she's got her cigarette in like the Cruella de Vil holder.
And then they're like, they're trying to set everything up, and they're telling her, you know, oh, you shouldn't be Smokey the Bear says only you can prevent forest fires. Well, Smokey the Bear isn't going through a very messy divorce. So they cut to that night. They got the fire going, and then she's like, there you go, fondue al fresco.
They're making fondue, like that's their big Wilderness Girl activity.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, who wants espresso? You know, and there's a sudden rainstorm, and she's like, go girls, I'll save the fondue, the dessert.
I got the fondue. She's in her little high heels.
She couldn't save the fondue.
She fell down into the mud, covered all of her beautiful coat.
And they're like, are you ready to quit and go home? And she's like, well, not until we sing Kumbaya. So we sing Kumbaya. As they transport to the Beverly Hills Hotel. They're telling ghost stories in the middle with the lights out, and she's like, then the voice came from in the foyer. Then they heard it from the maid's room. Like, oh my god!
Yeah, they're all beside themselves.
Who has my golden arm? So they get to the end of that ghost story, and then they ask Mrs. Neffler to tell them another ghost story.
Please tell us one.
Well, it was a cold, dark day. I went to Christophe's, where I usually get my hair done, but Christophe had mysteriously disappeared. In his place was Ronaldo. And then at the end, he permed me!
And they're all screaming.
That was the biggest scream. So
there's like this huge suite too.
Neffler Bungalow 4.
Yeah.
She's going around though. The girls like all fell asleep. She's, you know, taking off the little dictator's sunglasses, covering up the other grave.
Like it was a very
super good mom.
Like motherly wilderness leader moment. Yes. Yeah, you see her goodness.
Yes. And then the next day, we cut to Pee Wee Herman on TV with his giant underpants. Yeah.
I love that as a kid too.
Yeah,
because,
me too.
As you know, we're Pee Wee fans.
Love Pee Wee. You see Frankie and Annette running jogging.
Yeah, they have a little cameo.
Yeah, and then Velda's kind of walking past them up to the, because she called the night before and let
Phyllis
everybody
left
know
a message like that we're at the Beverly Hills.
The site that you recommended was totally unacceptable, and they're roughing it. And she's like, this is what you call roughing it? And she's like, 1 bathroom for 9 people? Yes. And she's like, the red feathers were out there just last week, Velda's saying, and they ate squirrel meat and they never once needed the bathroom. And Phyllis is just like, oh, must have been the squirrel meat.
Yeah, and so Velda's daughter is one of the red feathers.
And that's, I guess, Velda's personal troop.
Yeah, she's the leader of that one.
Yeah, and she's affiliated, like, she's over all of the district.
Yeah, she's a district leader, but
that's her
is the leader of this particular troop as well.
And they're like the ones who are always like top of the top. Mm-hmm. They got to be the Wilderness Girls poster troop in the year prior.
They always have top cookie sales. Yeah. Most patches.
Mm-hmm. And they show up at the annual Wilderness Craft Day, and their craft is like this. It looks like a regular high quality backpack
modeling.
Yeah, but then when you flip it out, it's like a whole like clothes rack.
Yeah, like it comes out, your wardrobe folds out, so it's not wrinkled at all.
Yeah, being out in the wilderness is no excuse not to look your best. And Phyllis was inquiring about patches, and she's like, where can I buy some of those? And she's like, well, you don't buy patches, you earn them. And she's like, oh, like jewelry.
But I thought their backpack was pretty innovative.
It was.
Yeah, it's not practical, but they created this whole thing that like unfolds. Yes. Like I don't think they gave them enough credit. They're making fun of them for it.
Whole everybody, and I'm like, you're telling me not one other person,
and like the adults, they're like,
it's like not into was that into camping out and stuff. Give me a break. So Annie Herman is like the second to Velda.
She's like her assistant.
Her assistant.
She's very meek.
Mm-hmm. And she got assigned as assistant troop leader to Phyllis to help her, but it's really to infiltrate.
Yes.
And
so
get
Velda
some
sends
dirt
her in
on Troop Beverly Hills.
Take pictures. She gives her like hidden cameras and sound. Microphone.
They carries a camera in the wilderness manual and a microphone in her scarf pin. And then if she doesn't do it, Velda will can her, and she'll be back at Kmart selling yarn balls. So the kids are complaining that the troop sucks. There's no patches. They can't do anything. They don't know how to do anything.
They want to be wilderness girls, and it's not. And everybody's making fun of them, which I don't understand, because these are the cool Beverly Hills girls.
Yeah, you're telling me
they are fashionable. They look great, and all these nerdy wilderness girls are like,
give me a break.
Yeah, and they're very upset by it. I would find a new hobby. I think.
I agree completely. They decided that they'll invent their own patches to survive in the wild of Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. And they start out with a spa day, and then there's jewelry appraisal. They find the canary diamond, and does it sing? Kumbaya.
Yes, it does.
They do dancing, and one of their dances is the Freddy. I know, life's ironic sometimes. Next, they do CPR with Officer Bill, and he picks Phyllis as his volunteer, and he's like, well, lay down on the floor, and she's like, boy, I got more than a patch the last time I did this. And at the end, you see her on that patch page. She also got Officer Bill's phone number.
Yes.
They volunteer with the elderly, and they're trying to find a magazine for this one gentleman, and he doesn't read New Woman. And he's like, well, what about Cosmo? I hate Cosmo. And then they hand him a penthouse, and he's like, oh, yeah. And after that, they just got done describing the fall fashion to the blind. The one man said he could actually feel the colors. It was very inspirational. She brought the entire troop to her divorce hearing.
Yes, it's good for them to see the legal system.
Especially with a woman judge.
Yeah, and of course the judge is like, ooh,
well,
that makes
sense. Allow it. Fred wants the court date moved up, and Phyllis was like, well, what's the rush? And here he's considering remarriage. To the realtor he claimed he wasn't having any relationship with. Mm-hmm. Okay. So... You can chime in too.
I don't remember the order of the movie. I need you for that.
See, See, this is how it is. I'm doing the dirty work, and she's along for the ride. So Phyllis never believed they were actually done until that day.
Yes, and she's very sad leaving court.
But
all the girls comfort her.
Yeah, but all the good thing is that the girls at their next meeting, they earned 36 patches in 3 weeks.
These ridiculous patches.
And they need $7.50 for the patches. Emily doesn't have the money, one of the girls, and she takes off running. And then Phyllis goes after her to try to calm her down. She's the one whose dad was kind of in between jobs at the beginning, trying to find an acting job. And Phyllis goes to tell her, to comfort her, and tells her about how she once had her credit card cut at Neiman Marcus linen sale.
In front of everyone.
In front of a lot of people. And but money's not important. She had all these great duvets and shams and dust ruffles at 50% off. 200 thread count.
This is how you make this girl feel better about her financial situation.
She's like, were you embarrassed? Yes! So she's like, but money's not important. Friends are. And then another girl shows up.
It's Hannah, right?
Oh, no, it was the girl that looks like Hannah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was confusing.
Yeah, there were two
redheads.
similar. Yeah. And she's like, especially friends with money. Yeah,
yeah, and they give her the money.
They give her the $10.
Patches.
Yeah. So they decide to have the patch ceremony on a yacht.
Yeah,
it was like this huge
yacht with like balloons.
Where was our patch ceremony? In the church, like basement common area.
Yeah.
So she adds wine to hobo stew, and Annie is like, you can't put wine in hobo stew. Why not? What goes better with hobos than wine? So she's just taking all these pictures and getting all this
Annie's
info.
Collecting all this information to give back to what's her Velda.
And as Hannah gets her patches, Fred leans over and Phyllis leans over to kiss Hannah, and Fred kisses Phyllis.
She sneaks down and makes them kiss. And of course, Lisa is...
Oh, Fred, no!
Oh, she's so upset.
And she ends up going overboard. And Phyllis says, well, don't worry, silicone's buoyant. You know, she'll be fine. And then she's like, can you hand me a lifesaver? And Phyllis says, butterscotch or wintergreen? And then Velda tries to toss out Troop Beverly Hills, and the head leader says, no, we don't just toss troops out on their butts. And Annie, Velda decides to have Annie move in with Phyllis to try to get even more dirt on her. And then Chica shows up upset, one of the girls who, like, you never should see any emotion out of Chica. And she her parents left her on her birthday. And they went to Monte Carlo, and the maid Rosa makes her a cake. You know,
so they celebrate.
They celebrate her
birthday.
Yeah, because she was sad. Her parents are never around. She's the one who showed up in the limo at the beginning of the movie. Velda is revoking the Troop Beverly Hills patches because they're not real patches, which they were allowed to create their own patches. So I don't know how that was allowed.
Yeah, so she made them give them all back in front of everyone.
Yep,
they had to hand them back.
One girl says, well, that's okay. Too many accessories clutter an outfit, you know? And then they get to the cookie sales. So they say about how many boxes they're going to take, and each troop has to sell 1,000 to get to the jamboree, which if they compete and they win at the jamboree, they can be the poster troop for that year. And then, so the Red Feathers take 1,000 boxes, and Troop Beverly Hills takes 2,000 boxes. And Velda's just scoffing.
Yeah, they'll never sell that many cookies.
Now they're having trouble because they're trying to go door to door, and the Red Feathers are in Beverly Hills territory.
Yes, they just come and snake all their sales.
It was on purpose. They drove up. Yeah. Velda will never let her daughter call her mom. Anytime her daughter is like, "Mom, look, we did it," you know, she's like, "Nix on the mom thing." And then later on we cut to Fred, and he's talking about Hannah, like he dropped off Hannah, and Lisa's in the car, and you know,
she's being all impatient.
Yeah, and he's like, well, she'll always be my wife, and he meant to say daughter, but he said wife. You said wife. Well, and so she's all ticked off, and then we get to cookie time. It's cookie time.
So were they on Rodeo Drive then?
I believe, yeah.
So they were putting on this whole show
right outside, like Cartier sales. Or something. Yes. Yeah,
and it was working. People were buying their cookies.
Yeah.
They're in front of like a gym, and all these ladies are running up like, buy the cookies.
Yeah. Because first all the snooty Beverly Hills ladies were just walking
and they're like leotards coming in. But then all the real women who are just going to work out, trying to stay fit, they see the cookies. Yeah, and you can't resist.
No. So they go into the community. They're trying to sell these cookies. Phyllis has explained to the parents that, they can't just buy them because she thought about that too, but they need the community support. They need to learn how to do these things.
She's very noble of her. It seemed like
they
almost out of character.
Yeah. And, she's growing too.
Yes, she is. She's getting to be better. Not so materialistic.
Yeah, exactly. And then the mother, they cut to some more cookie events. The mother who does the romance novels was signing novels and her daughter was signing cookie boxes.
Yes.
And then they have a fashion show with Robin Leach as the announcer. And Khaki Wishes and Cookie Dreams. And Pia Zadora's there and all these other models of the day. And then Phyllis said, if you like their hot couture, you'll love their hot cuisine. Buy some cookies today. So they're walking around at this event, this fashion show, and they're like, would you like some cookies? And they're like, oh, you have to buy them,
Yes.
And Emily's dad cast Tessa's dad in her movie, Emily's dad was cast in Tessa's dad's movie. So he's getting his career back. They're getting on their feet. Cheech Marin is there as a cameo, and they introduce him to Annie Herman, and he loves Annie's makeover. They put her in one of Phyllis's dresses. Her hair's pretty much the same, and her makeup's pretty much the same.
Yeah, but she's just in a flashier outfit.
He's like, oh, Herman, you related to Pee-wee? Which again, it was 1989, very big of the time. So Fred is into Phyllis again. He's trying he wants to talk to her. Yeah.
Did he say he's done with Lisa?
I think he did. And Annie's loving the party, and she tells Velda off.
Velda comes up because Phyllis invited her to
give her the check for the cookies because they sold all the cookies.
Yeah, they sold way more than 2,000
boxes. Yeah. And then Phyllis and Fred are talking, and she says that the split was positive. So Fred backs off when he was about to, try to get back together with her, and he backs off. And he just says he wants joint custody when the divorce is final. Yeah, I know.
It seemed like he was about to profess his love.
And I think that he sees how she grew, and he doesn't want her to go back to how she was.
Yeah.
So, and of course, yeah, you can have but she stomps off. Because she stomps off all mad because she thought he was gonna declare his love for her too, and she falls into the pool and she steps off the table because they're poolside, and then she's just making a big
I'm drowning,
and then she just stands up and it's 3 feet of water. And then she just walks off, and everybody's staring, and he's like, we're going through a divorce. Oh, of course.
Just go back to the party.
Because everybody's like, well, there you have it. Velda comes threatening that somebody will be hurt at the jamboree, so Phyllis shouldn't, take any of these girls because they're not, they're
not ready for
the wilderness. And then Fred admits to Hannah that he wants to get back together with Phyllis, and Phyllis was very depressed while Hannah was with her dad, and she lost the will to shop. So Phyllis was saying no jamboree to the girls due to the danger. She had some time to think about it, and she's going to step down as the leader, and the girls won't let her quit, and
her now.
Fred agrees that she shouldn't quit. So the jamboree's starting. They show up, True Beverly Hills get there right at the nick of time. And Velda shoots the gun to get everything going before they're even out of the cars, and she shoots a bird. And Velda informs Annie that she has to stay behind. She can't go.
She's not allowed. It's only the leader can go, right?
That's what she said, but I think there was assistant leaders at the other groups too. But I thought maybe because again, I was having trouble this kept buffering for me, and I couldn't. It took me forever to watch it, so I missed a couple lines, and I think it might have been too that maybe because she was in more of a leadership, because she was Velda's assistant, that it would be unfair. That's the excuse I think they gave.
She knew the
course
layout
or whatever. Yeah. So the first to the campsite wins, and they get to be the poster troop for the year. The Red Feathers are changing arrow directions.
I was so mad. Yeah,
Beverly
the
Hills.
snotty little Velda's daughter, whatever her name is. She's
I don't think they ever said what it is.
They're high-fiving. Let's go.
Yeah. And like, it's not just their two troops. There's other troops in this too. Yeah,
they're to the wayside.
But it's screwing everybody who's behind them up. Annie is helping, but they had walkie-talkies and sorry, Shell. Snake alert!
There's a lot of snakes in these movies that we're watching. I don't know why this was such a big thing in childhood. Yes, there is a snake scene. Trigger warning.
Yes, and they're like because they went the wrong way because the arrow was pointing the wrong way.
So they're in like this
marshy area, and she's like, "Do rattlesnakes live in swamps?" And she's like,
No, they don't.
Water moccasins do though. They're just as deadly, but totally silent before they strike, and they're like screaming.
They just all scream and run off.
So Phyllis left the walkie-talkie behind, so they don't have Annie's help anymore.
But now they're trucking it to get away from the snake.
Exactly, yeah.
And they end up ahead of the Red Feathers.
Yep. Oh, no, that's not why they were getting ahead. No. They also ran into a skunk.
Oh, there was a skunk.
And the skunk, the girl's like, but nobody's like telling Phyllis, that's the spirit girls, and Phyllis is just like, and then she sees it too, and they're all just running from the skunk, and that's how they beat the Red Feathers.
Okay, sorry. I gave it away.
No, it's okay. The first campsite, because I had to look at my note to make sure because they were running it a couple times, yeah. So Velda kills the skunk because she's so angry it made the Red Feathers lose because they were coming up around the bend, and then you see Troop Beverly Hills run out, and
this is just the first leg of the race.
Yeah, the first leg of the they have like an overnight campsite. And then she makes a hat out of the skunk.
She's wearing the skunk in the next scene.
And she announces that she's going to be taking over the Red Feathers the next day, even though she mapped the course.
Yes. Why was somebody got sick? Or
she said somebody got sick. She wants them to win. She's like, you're going to be too sick to continue tomorrow.
So she's rigging it.
Yep.
But yeah, she mapped the whole course, so it's unfair for Annie to go along, but not her.
Yep. Total
She said, what other choice do they have?
Yeah. And then they're doing their Beverly Hills. What a thrill.
Beverly Hills, what a
Which
thrill.
I said they were wasting time doing that because a couple of them were like, step forward, step back.
Yeah, they're doing like a choreographed number to this.
And I'm like, just go!
Go! You want to win.
So Velda takes out the rope bridge so they can't get across this ravine.
Cuts it down.
And then... and I said, isn't it out for everyone now? But I think they were the last two troops because they were the first two. I didn't see any other troops doing.
Yeah, they get eliminated in the first round. I would think. Then.
So, because at first I was like, wait, she just cut that for everybody else. But I think it was just their two troops at that second day. So Phyllis goes across a log, and then she gets it's like a balance beam, but it's a log over. It's like a tree that fell over, and what happens? Like her shoe, she loses her balance and falls down.
Yeah.
So Hannah comes out after her because Hannah does gymnastics throughout the movie, and she's like, well, it's just like the balance beam, I'll do it. But then she gets her foot stuck in the log.
Yeah.
So Phyllis has to go back to her, and I said, with the power of disciplining your child, she's able to.
She's just scolding. I told you to wait over there.
To distract
as they're getting across.
The log. So they both got across safely, and then had the girls throw them the bridge to tie.
I never understand in these scenes. Like, this is multiple movies. You're crossing a ravine. Why aren't you crawling across? They go to stand, and they're like trying.
I mean,
I tried.
So I tried this one time because
did you have to cross a ravine?
We went mushroom hunting one time with my cousins and mom, and they're all much more nimble than me and much tinier than me, and they were really going across this log, and I'm like, I tried to do it on my knees. It hurts. Like, bark is freaking sharp on your knees. So maybe that's just me being.
I'm glad I didn't go on this expedition personally. And one of the reasons I said no was there's probably snakes. I don't want to come across them.
No snakes that day, but a lot of ticks.
And a lot of ravines, apparently. So.
It wasn't even it was, you could walk across and you just get your feet wet.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I found a different way where I could jump across. Where it was wide and then it gets like thin. So I went down a ways, but yeah. So it's not as easy if you don't have great balance. I get why they're not crawling across.
If it's between life and death,
yeah,
I think you can handle your knees.
Yeah,
they would die if they fell down this ravine, probably, or get seriously injured.
It was a rocky ravine. Yes. There was no water. So Velda really cheats then. She pulls out a shortcut, as she, knows. But she ends up breaking her ankle. And the red feathers leave her behind with some water.
And they just, assess it so quickly. Yep, it's broken.
Yep. And they're like, well, she's slowing us down. So,
yeah, and her daughter just leaves her mom there.
I mean, the whole movie, they've had that relationship, so I wouldn't take care of her either. Velda, True Beverly Hills stumbles upon Velda, and they are trying to help her. Velda won't tell them the shortcut, though, because she doesn't want them to win, even though it's to get her medical care. Because she's like, well, there's a nurse back at camp. Let's, get you.
Can help you.
What's the quickest way, So they decide to help Velda anyways, and they use their backpacks and fashion them together into a cot. And she's just being miserable the whole time.
Yeah, just whine and complain.
But they're dragging her with the, these things. They have this, branch, this giant.
Yeah, they tied all the bags to a log and then pulled the log.
The red feathers appear first, and but they can't win because their leader's not with them. So it has to be a complete troop. But they steal the trophy anyways as Troop Beverly Hills appears with Velda, and Tessa's dad's filming this to try to, get some movie magic going, I guess. Troop Beverly Hills wins, and the red feathers are disqualified. And then Velda's fired, but I put she can magically walk now because she gets up and just starts walking no limp, nothing, just okay, I'm here.
On her broken ankle.
That's what they said, it was broken. Because at first I was like, oh, she probably
sprained it. Yeah, twisted.
Nope, they're like, well, it's her fibula or whatever. And they prove that they're real wilderness girls, and then Fred appears and kisses Phyllis. And they said they should get married again. And Beverly Hills, what a thrill! They're just going.
Everybody's chanting.
Everybody knows the cheer now. And you cut to down the road, and Troop Beverly Hills is the 1990 Wilderness Girl poster troop, and Velda is working at Kmart with a blue light special, aisle 4, cookies. So, super fun movie. This is one we used to watch. They used to rerun it a lot on weekends.
And they showed it a lot.
Yeah.
We loved it as kids, and I really loved it watching
I did too. I love this movie. I own this
I thought it was going to be stupid when I rewatched it. But no, it had some good comedy moments.
Yeah, and there's so many cameos and stuff. There's a lot of famous of the day, socialite people.
And just the fashion.
Oh yeah,
and,
it's
the
super
glitz.
fun. It's super fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's a visual, candy.
It's a nice movie, and Shelley Long is so perfect.
I love Shelley Long.
Yeah. It was great.
I did not know this. Did you know Carla Gugino is in the movie?
Yes,
I saw it, and I'm like, wait a minute, which girl? I tried to guess the whole time, and then I looked it up afterwards.
I couldn't tell either.
It was between Emily and Chica.
Yeah,
and it was Chica.
Yeah, she has a huge career now.
Yeah, with all the Hill House and Bly Manor thing and all that stuff.
Yeah, she's Netflix's queen now.
Yeah. But I was like, wow, okay. So, and then they're young Tori Spelling's in this.
Yeah,
she doesn't, I don't think.
You can explain your shirt.
Oh, yeah, my shirt. My
90210 Tori Spelling shirt. Yes. Because Tori Spelling has a tiny little part in this. She really doesn't say much.
I don't think she says a word the entire movie. She's the
one of the red
sidekick.
feathers.
Yeah, she's the sidekick to the Velda's daughter. And, I wore this too because the whole movie's in Beverly Hills.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
True.
But, super fun. Oh, and that's how they find their way in the wilderness, too. She's trying to figure out which way north is. So she's like, well, Neiman Marcus is over here. I think we're at Cartier, so to speak.
It's just a clever, cute movie. It's fun.
And it shows that, not everybody's wired up the same, and, but you can still, be successful in life and get it your own way.
Yeah, you can do things differently and still succeed.
You don't have to do everything the way that it's mapped out to be. I've been very much about that in my life.
It was cool. The cast did a reunion a couple years ago. And they just got together and they're singing the songs and chatting about how fun it was. And it was just you felt the connection still. They really had a good time, and you can tell they had a good time filming it. So.
And I didn't have enough time with this one to look up things. Was Hannah the girl from Goonies?
Oh, I don't know.
I would have to look. Answer in the comments if you know, because the whole time I'm thinking I need to look this up, and I forgot. I didn't get.
I don't
around
remember
to
the
it.
Goonies. I remember it played at a sleepover I was at, and everybody fell asleep, and the DVD was just looping, and I was there, and I didn't know how to turn it off, and it's just like playing that title screen over and over, and I was just like, I hate this movie, and I never watched it again because I was like, I can't.
The downside of DVDs is they would have the title screen, and I suspect she was, but I'm not 100%.
We'll have to look it up.
Yeah. So answer in the comments if
First
you know.
one in the comments is the winner. There's no prize.
You get the satisfaction of a job well done.
The glory of
some
true Beverly Hills trivia.
But yeah, I really like this movie a lot. I watched it for fun a couple years ago when we were doing. We had a couple RV glamping trips, and I watched it.
Gets you in the mood for it.
Yeah. It's super fun. And,
it is. Good summer movie too.
Yeah, like Craig T. Nelson is the dad, and and there's just a lot of people you've seen in other things.
Yeah, you recognize the people.
Yeah.
Like even if they didn't have huge parts in other things, like they're recognizable characters.
I think wasn't Annie in the Sabrina series?
She was. She was in the Santa Claus. She
That's
plays
it.
Charlie's teacher.
That's it. Yeah, she's in a lot of those little meek characters.
Yeah. Quiet little voice.
Yeah, super fun though. And the one girl was in the Saved by the Bell before, like the original, before it got to be like, the popular show. It was the Miss Bliss version of Saved by the Bell. I remember her from that too. Yeah, the good stuff.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. That was a good one.
But again, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and just look up Sisters and Ebert. Again, these are all our opinions on how we see the movie. If you feel differently or you sympathize, let us know.
Yeah, we want to know.
We want to engage with you. And if you like these, please let us know. If you have some suggestions, let us know. But we thank you for your time today.
Yes,
thank you for watching.
Thanks so much.
And we'll see you at the movies.